Hi, I'm Chris from Focusrite Novation, and here we are today in Messe 2013, and we've got a brand new first look at the fantastic Bass Station 2 synth.
Well, second look, we saw it yesterday in the flesh.
Of course,
but
yeah.
we couldn't really get to listen to it.
Okay,
so.
well maybe we should say this time the first hearing of the fantastic Bass Station.
So we've seen the kind of, can we listen to some raw waves? Let's start with some raw waves.
Yeah, absolutely, okay, cool. So if we get the mixer, we'll just bring it right down. So here we have oscillator 1. On the oscillator we've got 4 different waveforms. So if we sine waves, triangle, sawtooth, and variable pulse width. I'll put that onto mine. Okay. So yeah, and then oscillator 2, of course. Now, if we want to start to play around with oscillator 2, we bring up the volume and then we switch it. So we can tune these.
Quite driven sound. Is there a drive going on the actual unit?
We've got an overdrive here on the filter, so if we take that off.
Is that drive
distortion on that.
Okay, it's still got quite.
Well, if we put a. So on the filter side of things, we've got 2 different types of filters. We've got the classic filter, which is based on the old Bass Station, and then we've gone for a filter which we've called cryptically acid, and that is, well, essentially it's a ladder filter based on the 303.
Yeah. So
and it gets some nice,
sort of driven and kind of.
Yeah. So it's a bit more squelchy.
So is that overdrive driving the signal into the filter?
Yeah, exactly. So if we bring in a sub-oscillator now, we'll start to fatten up a bit. Sub-oscillator can be 1 or 2 octaves. And also we've got different waveforms for the sub as well. So we've got square, sorry, a thin pulse width and then square.
It's got quite a lot of fizz, hasn't it? You can get
absolutely, yeah.
Plenty of harmonics in there.
There is, absolutely. I mean, obviously the distortion and the overdrive there can really bring that out as well. We can get some nice dry sounds out of it as well, but we can get really push it and make it nice and nasty as well.
And what's the kind of low end, because we're getting the line in, so we should be able to catch it. What's the kind of more low end stuff? Because we've got obviously the sine.
Oh, if we get to this, let's get some sine. Okay, let's see.
Ah, there we go. Because it's famously to be used by William Orbit for lots of bass lines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Bass Station 2 is, you know, as its name suggests, it's a bass station, but it's going to be good for really nice searing leads as well, and arpeggiated patches as well. I've quite a lot of nice stuff with the arpeggiated.
Can you tune the interval and the oscillators?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. We've got a fine tuning as well there, so just knock it out a little bit.
So can you edit, you edit 1 or 2, right?
Yeah. And then we've got...
Nice. So what's the LFOs as well? I was interested to see what the range was like on those. Do they go up to audio?
Well, they go pretty fast. Let's get...
Yeah. Are those syncable?
Not the 2 LFOs, no. I think we've got 2 independent LFOs on this, so yeah. We've got different waveforms again, and we've got a sample and hold.
And you got, and all of this is storable. It's kind of unusual for a monosynth these days to actually have memory.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, again, from out the box, we're going to have 64 presets in there. but there are going to be an additional 64 slots as well to be able to store additional stuff in there.
I remember the original, I had a super bass station, the patch writing was a nightmare. All you did was lose your patches all the time.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you fixed that, right?
Well, I mean, writing patches, we just press the save button there. So it's well labelled as well. So
any other, I noticed the arpeggiator and sequencer, is that going yet on the firmware?
We can have a quick listen to the arpeggiator, certainly, but just to go through it as well, obviously we've got a little sequencer with, we've got a record and play mode on the arpeggiator choice, and we've got actually 4 sequences that we can save as well.
Oh, right,
so, you know, we can actually get 4 independent little sequences there that we can
Are the sequences saved with the patch, or are they just...
That's a good question, and that depends on how the firmware is delivers it. Because I'm not,
you can have sequences per patch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I'm not too sure if that will be, if the actual sequences will be stored. It might well be that they are. Yeah. But on the arpeggiator as well. So if we get it turned on now, okay, let's get a sound on. So. So we've got 32 independent rhythms there as well.
Oh, so the rhythmical variations.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So we've got 32 to choose from.
So that's just on a down one, so then presumably you've got all the different...
Yep.
Let's go up there.
Let's get a few notes in there.
So this presumably the rhythms kind of sounds like there's swing and dots.
Yeah, there's different kind of rhythmic variations essentially on the same sort of arpeggio. Got tempo control as well.
Presumably we can sync the arpeggiator.
Yeah.
Can you sync the arpeggiator to LFOs or anything, or are they separate?
I think they're separate, yeah. They'll be separate, so
yeah. So presumably this will do all those kind of classic, because I mean, I remember I had a super bass station, and I used to use it a lot for those kind of evolving filtered arpeggio sequences.
Absolutely, I
didn't use the arpeggiator on board, I'd always do that in the sequencer.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. Well, I mean, of course you do it in the sequencer, but of course we've got the arpeggiator on there, and the step sequencer as well. So when that's implemented properly as well, we'll be able to actually use those. And as I say, we've got 4 different, we can store in 4 different step sequences in there to have a play with. So.
Do you know what the step length is of the sequencer?
I don't offhand, to be honest. I think...
it's going to be 8 or 16.
Yeah, exactly, something like that, or maybe even more, but I would need to double check on that for you.
And just take me through the effects section as well, because obviously we've got this distortion.
Yeah, well, we've got the distortion, which is just basically bringing a bit more harmonic content, if you like, to the sound. And we've got this one, which is quite an interesting one. It's it's basically using oscillator 2 to modulate the filter. So we can basically use it as a bit of an FM kind of modulation.
Audio rates and stuff. Oh,
exactly right, yeah. So. So we're going to have essentially sort of an FM kind of control there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And in terms of all the modulation capabilities, I mean, there's quite a lot of extra functions down here, which are Are these sort of
Well, it's basically just adding extra functionality. I mean, obviously, one of the key things on a synth like this is to be able to get your hands on, get your hands dirty with the knobs and start to play around with the sounds. But obviously, we've got a limited real estate on here. So the additional key controls, if you like, using the function and the relative key, just gives you access to a whole load of different parameters as well.
Presumably it doesn't transmit Aftertouch, does it?
Yes, it does, yeah. Hang on, let's see.
God, so it's actually got Aftertouch in the keyboard?
Yep, in the keyboard.
I seem to have become, I have a reputation for asking, has it got Aftertouch? And usually the answer is no.
Yep, we do have Aftertouch. In fact, it's quite an interesting keyboard. We've got, it's a spring, each key is individually sprung as well to give it that kind of nice sort of old feel, if you like, but also nice and responsive with the synth engine as well.
Oh, that's nice. Very bell-like. Is that the filter mod doing that?
Well, we've taken that down a bit. We've got an LFO.
knows what's going there? I know,
Who knows?
I know it's nice,
It sounds ace. Yeah.
So any other kind of features I should know about? We did sort of say, obviously, that it's unusual, or it seems to be less usual to not have gate and CV controls, but that was...
I mean, we decided to sort of, to not put that in, I guess, which...
but he said it was a cost issue.
Well, I guess, that's it. I mean, obviously, this is going to be retailing in the UK about for $399, right. So, obviously, we want to keep the cost down. Another couple of things that are worth mentioning, though, Nick, are the fact that we are USB bus powered if we want to be as well, which is quite nice. Each of these encoders will send out a CC as well, so it could be used for controlling your DAW software, handy. Which is good, nice and handy. And on the back, we've got MIDI in and out. I'll just spin that around so you can see MIDI in and out as well, a sustain, and then an external in, which we can then run through the filter and through the effects as well.
Gotcha. Okay, well, it's looking good. Summer, we're expecting to hear that, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's going to be sometime in the summer when they're going to be hitting stores. And, it's exciting times, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.